comes to seeing, Howie and the rest of those guys. But everybody in here, congratulations on joining us here on a Monday. Everyone, we welcome you aboard except M. Reyes. Thank you very much for coming in here. And we got another packed show for you as we head into the NFL Combines, which is also known as the convention. It's the NFL convention on the 22nd. Okay? And we got a shitload of topics here for you. Do me a favor. Hit the like button. Super chats go to the top. February 23rd and kind of like the 22nd, everybody starts showing up to Indianapolis. Howie Roseman will be out there with all of his contingents talking about what to do with A.J. Brown, what to do with Jalen Phillips. By the way, we had a conversation with our friend Drew Rosenhaus over the weekend. Some pretty interesting stuff going on. And I have my top 10 free agents. Also, I have a little bit of a conversation about the NFL draft. So we'll do that. What to do with A.J. Brown. By the way, do you not agree with this? Okay? Your season is going to be dictated on how you deal with this A.J. Brown. If you deal wrong, I think the Philadelphia Eagles are in for a 7-win season. If it goes right, are you back in the mix again? And does that window of your Super Bowl window stay open? Right now, it's about to close. Where is this going to end this offseason here? How is this going to dictate the upcoming fall? Hit the like button. Supers go to the top. I will tell you right now, I think everything you do with this A.J. Brown scenario and what you do, whether you move on from him or whether you move to a point where maybe even you extend him, is going to dictate whether or not you have a successful season in the upcoming year. As we said, hit the like button. Also, we have potential trades. Now, I got to ask you what you think the market value is first for A.J. Brown. Sills, let's say you get $20 million. Now goes up 24 for 26 season, plus Michael Carter cut is $54 million. Can you make moves with that much? Not really, because remember something. You have to have north of $20 million for your upcoming draft class. You still got to put money aside for the NFL draft when you start signing guys. So you got to start go down to that. You got to start thinking about saving money. You need about $14 million for your upcoming NFL draft, 14 to 20. Okay? So I've got some potential trades. Also, there is guys that have been cut, and that is today. Plus, we're going to talk about Nakobe Dean, my top 10 free agents. I got a ranking in the draft when it comes to positions. Also, who is going to replace this particular guy? Also, we got a Jalen Hurts topic. Do me a favor, please hit that like button. Okay, what do you think the market value is right now for A.J. Brown? Stop with ones. You're not getting a one for him. You're not getting a one for A.J. Brown. According to two agents I spoke to, Jimmy Sexton from CAA and also Drew Rosenhaus, there's no chance on the planet you're getting a one for him. You are not getting a one. Okay? And as a matter of fact, I think a 2 is pretty rich, depending how far down the draft order that you think potentially you could get a 2. You are not getting a 1. That's off the page. The money and the age of the player. What do you think the value is? Sills, should the Eagles go all in for Max Crosby? No. No. I'm spreading my money around. I'm spreading it around to edge, corner, offensive line, and a running back, and maybe even a backup quarterback. We get more collateral in a trade. That's a great take. That's a great take. Brandon Ayuk for AJ? No, thank you. 3rd and a 5th. Okay? Not bad. AJ's not going anywhere. Why is this topic being beaten to the... Bro, you're fucking wrong. You're wrong. They are going to entertain moving the guy. This is going to be the biggest decision you make this offseason. It's not going to be anything with Jalen Hurts' stupid deal, or it's not going to be Jalen Phillips or Jalen Carter's contract extension. This is what's going to make your deal for the upcoming NFL season. Okay? You're not anywhere near in the real reality. Every single general manager is expecting the Eagles to entertain conversation on moving AJ. You're out of your tree. We could jump through with our 1 and AJ package. 1 and AJ? We can also snag a conditional 3. AJ Brown is not a 1, and more likely he's not a 2. You're out of your fucking tree, Reyes. You're overvaluing your players as usual. I'd package AJ with picks for a player of significance, like an O-lineman. Nobody trades O-lineman. Hey, let me put this out there to you. AJ Brown, for a top-flight left tackle, that's not happening. The left tackle is more valuable than a wide receiver unless you're talking Jamar Chase or Justin Jefferson or JSN in Seattle. Outside of that, Puka Nacua, guys like that. You're out of your trees. Okay? AJ to the Bills, get Deion Dawkins. Okay. AJ's not worth a second. That's correct. He's not worth a second. Bro, you're out of your mind. A 29-year-old wideout who makes $32 million and whose numbers have been down the last 2 years. Where are you seeing that? Where in God's name do you see a guy who had 1,000 yards receiving, 59 yards a game, who was limited at times with targets, and people are saying was losing a step? You think you're getting a second rounder for that guy? You're out of your mind. All pro? In what world? I don't remember that last year. I missed it. Brown is a guy like that. Just doesn't have the quarterback or pass game. That could very well be, Joe. Joe, I actually think that. I think the quarterback as a passer is a stiff when it comes to being in the pocket. Now, that's funny. I wasn't going to bring this up until a little bit later. Do you guys agree with this? If Jalen Hurts refuses to run, his market value is less. Do you not agree? Do you guys agree? If Jalen Hurts doesn't run, Jalen Hurts' market value is less. Yes or no? If he's not dual threat, he's not the same market value. He's not a $50 million. He's not a $50 million guy. He stinks as a passer. Right? Everyone knows that except the knee draggers and except the Jalenites. This is why you're changing your entire offense. Hey, get this. You're changing your entire offense to be a better passing team or to try to throw the ball, and yet your quarterback's not a passer. Interesting. How about trading for Riley Moss kid in Denver for AJ? Dude, a little bit up more. We got to think a little bit higher than Riley Moss. Okay? Do we agree? Jalen Hurts' value is less, and his market value is not as high if he's not a runner. I'm not paying $50 million for a guy who's not very good in the pocket. I think he's like a $25, $30 million guy. I mean, Sam Darnold is worth more than Jalen in the pocket. Hey, based on what? Look at this guy, another Jalenite. One of the worst passers of any guy in the league. If you were just going to have Jalen throw the ball and not have him run the ball, he's one of the worst. That's got nothing to do with skill set. Hey, get this, Super Bowl MVP, and yet you're changing the offense. And you're trying to throw the ball. Super Bowl MVP means nothing. when it comes to this conversation. That's why you're changing the entire offense, and another coordinator's been fired because your shitty passing game. Okay. No, he isn't great, but he doesn't stink at things. I get it. It's more his pocket presence is the problem. So then he can't throw the ball. Yeah, listen. Yeah, he's got bad feet. He leaves the pocket too soon. Read his scouting report. All you got to know is just read the scouting report. Nick Foles was the Super Bowl MVP. Hey, like I said, his market value was less. Dan, do you think the new offensive coordinator coach have any say with keeping Tanner McKee? No. Howie Roseman will have complete say in who he wants to keep and who he doesn't want to keep. When talking Jalen, you have to consider it's all not just a good pass once in a while. That's what they're trying to do this coming season, though. Seems like a part of Manning's scheme will be getting the ball out quicker. That and a tempo offense. Up tempo, he's really good. May buffer Jalen not running. Okay. Yeah. Jim Plunkett. Mic drop. Jalen Hurts, the worst quarterback in the NFC East. I wouldn't pick him to start a new team. Absolutely never. Now, I don't know about Jackson Dart. How many more coordinators get fired does it take to put the blame on Hurts instead of the offense and Sirianni? 3 more. Again, I want to go back to AJ here in a second. Okay, Sills the Butcher, how you doing? Hey, all I'll say one more time is, if that dude decides not to run, and they're going to try to build the passing attack around Jalen Hurts, this will be a 7-win team. If he runs, and he runs with the efficiency that he had in 22, this will be a Super Bowl contending team. And I have no problem saying that either. I told you before, when he's used like he was when he was in his that year in 22, Jalen Hurts is a weapon. There's no question about it. There's absolutely no question. But when he's used like I think they're going to try to use him, he's below average. Okay? Hey, everyone, remember when that real OC came on and said Hurts would flourish in a new offense? I remember. Hey, remember this also? That's pie in the sky. I happen to disagree. Because he doesn't watch Jalen Hurts on a week-to-week basis. The guy can't pass. You're assuming it. Hurts, 2.5 seconds in the pocket, 72%, 7.2. I'm not going through any of that BS. I have no idea. It's got to be a Jalen Knight dissecting something. I'm going to get back to AJ in 2 seconds here. Okay, let me get back to it right now, actually. This is not what we came here to talk about today. That was a little bit later on, but I wanted to throw that out. Your market value for your quarterback. Hey, do we not agree? One thing. Hey, Sue. Do you think that Jalen Hurts was paid in 2022, coming out of that 22 season, because of the way he ran the ball and the way he threw the ball? Yes or no? Do you think that he was paid because of the running and the passing? Yes or no? Okay. Do you think he was paid on that? On his ability to run after that 22 season, got to the Super Bowl? Do you guys think he was paid on that? Yes or no? Leon says yes. Do you guys believe he was paid on that? Yes or no? On what he did, okay, as a runner and a thrower. Yes or no? Okay, John, he says yes. Okay? Sue, no. Sue don't want to get caught and pinned in there, but Listen, of course he was. You take that element away, what's the value? It's half the value. And if he's not running, he's not worth the same value. All right. So let's take a look at some potential trade opportunities that we are hearing for A.J. Brown. And when you guys get to the combines with Howie Roseman on the 22nd, 23rd, here's some of the deals that we've heard. Tell me which one of these deals you like. New England Patriots would be willing to offer a third, which is the 95th player taken, and a fifth, which is the 169th player taken. A third and a fifth. Patriots get AJ, you get a third and a fifth rounder. Okay? Yes or no? You're not getting a second. You are not getting a second or a first rounder. You're out of your minds. Here. You know what? This is going to be a nice reality check for you. A.J. Brown. A.J. Brown. On June 30th, he'll be 29 years old. How much money is he owed this year? A.J. Brown, 2026 salary will be, cap hit is $23 million, and his total compensation is $30 million bucks. And he's 29 years old. I want you to start thinking with some common sense and not being a knee dragger. The Patriots would be offering, according to Alonzo Highsmith and the people we know in the organization, a third-round pick, which is the 95th player taken, and a fifth rounder for A.J. Brown. For a guy who's going to be 29, skills are diminishing, and he makes $30 million bucks. You got to start dealing with this. You ain't getting a 1 for that guy, and you ain't getting a 2. You are not getting a 2. Not happening. How is this deal? Yes or no? Okay? A third rounder in this year's draft? No, you're wrong. Why? You're looking at this year's draft and you think this year's draft sucks because the quarterbacks blow? I disagree. I'm going to rank the positions here for you in a second. And it's pretty deep at certain spots. You don't know what you guys are talking about. The draft has got a lot of quality guys in it. It's just they don't have quarterbacks in this draft. And if the quarterbacks aren't in this draft, guess what? Good players are going to go at the top end of the draft. I'll tell you, and I'll give you the rankings according to Bledsoe and some general managers we spoke. A third and a fifth for A.J. Brown to the Patriots. Keep that in mind. Okay? Buffalo Bills. A second rounder. And A.J. Brown. Excuse me. I'm sorry. A third round pick. Rosenhaus told me that with the Browns. With the Bills. A third round pick for A.J. Brown. No other compensation. Third for A.J. Would you do that? You're sending him out of the AFC or out of the NFC, and you're putting him, again, away from a team that you're going to have to see on a daily basis or a yearly basis, I should say. Okay? AJ doesn't have the value because money and age. Not enough. Wait, you want to see something ridiculous? Hey, RC3, what do you think a proper deal would be for AJ Brown? What do you think a deal for AJ would be? What do you think a deal would be? I'm curious. What ridiculous deal would you make a deal for him? What deal? I'm curious what you think his market value is. And Reyes, let's see your idiotic take on what you think his value is in the marketplace. A 2 and a 4? Never happened. Never happened. Unless it's a team like the Jets, maybe. But Jets don't have a quarterback. Why would the Jets give up a 2 when they don't even have a quarterback yet? A 2 and a 4 at worst? Shit, dude. You got a lot of pain coming your way then. Conditional 2 and 3. Too much? If it's Seahawks, okay, at the bottom of the second round, maybe. Remember, the better the team, that means they're at the bottom of the second round, maybe conditional. Okay? Here's another deal. So here's the first 2 deals. 3rd rounder and a 5th rounder to the Patriots for AJ. Here's what the Bills are offering. The Bills are offering a 3rd round for AJ Brown. The money just don't make sense this year, Sills. Listen, they're going to move him. They're going to move him. And they're going to eat some money, and they're going to redo other contracts to take some of that bite away. They're going to move him. Dude, you're going to keep a guy who's, get this, if you keep A.J. Brown on this team with that quarterback, it's a remedy for disaster. Have you not, even in the Super Bowl year, he fucking hated the quarterback's style of not throwing on time. Did you not hear Adam Kaplan? It's the quarterback. The quarterback doesn't throw on time. They won the Super Bowl. He hated the guy then. Now you're bringing a 33-year-old dude who's never called a play in his life. You think he's going to stick around with a guy who's never called a play and a quarterback who doesn't throw on time. And he's going to be happy and he's not going to be bitching the entire season? You want to go through that again? See this right here? Listen what I just said. So you're going to keep a guy on your team that doesn't want to play in this system and he doesn't want to play with that quarterback. So you're going to go through it again. 7-win season. If you deal him, you're less. If you keep him, you're worse because he doesn't want to be here. Dude, he does not want to be here. And you're going to try to force a square peg into a round hole? He doesn't want to be here. This is about the quarterback. I didn't say that. Adam Kaplan said that last week. Oh, yeah. The current Super Bowl champs just hired a guy who was never called plays as an OC. Dallas did for their DC. Why won't it work again? Because he's only been a coach for 24 months. Get this. They hired a guy, folks, who has never, ever worked with a quarterback. He was a tight ends fucking coach. He wasn't Matt LaFleur called plays in Green Bay. Get that. He's been a coach for 24 months. 24 months. 24 months he's been a coach. Kevin Patullo has more experience. I mean, 24 months. Trust me, a few ladies in here know my real I'm not sure what you're talking about, dude. was quarterback on my shit list, too. Let's see here. The Eagles have never developed wide receivers, and Aaron Moorhead is useless. It's not about the development of wide receivers. It's about the quarterbacks that you guys refuse to develop, from Wentz all the way to Hurts. Coordinators don't want to come here. Receivers don't want to come here. Wonder why? Well, receivers came here. Remember, A.J. Brown came here because they traded for him and gave him money. Eagles will be back. I don't think they will trade him because they would be worse without him. You're going to be worse with him or without him. The guy doesn't want to be here. Dude, he doesn't have a problem with Jalen Hurts, the man. He's got a problem with Jalen Hurts, the quarterback. And you guys don't want to accept that. How come that's a big problem with you? I got one more trade here coming up. And I got a few folks, obviously, the Chargers follow me on Twitter, and I got some friends inside the organization. Chargers would be willing to give up a third round in 26 and a sixth rounder for A.J. Brown, and the Eagles would get a seventh rounder in 27. There's your deals. These are the deals that are going to be talked about at the combines in Indianapolis. A third rounder for A.J., the Bills. The Patriots, a third rounder and a fifth rounder, and the Patriots would get A.J. The Chargers, Eagles would get a third rounder and a sixth rounder, and the Chargers would get an eighth rounder and a seventh rounder in 27. This is where you got. Hey, so let me get this right. You're going to keep a guy who hates it here and hates the style of the quarterback. Holy shit, man. That makes no sense. So you're going to go through all that BS and all that drama you went through last year to keep the guy? You're not making sense. Eagles have a first, second, and 2/3, 2/4, and a fifth for AJ's trade value for a player of similar caliber, but in the defensive side, draft a player to replace AJ in the second round. So AJ Brown, hey, a lot of the Pro Bowl receivers were drafted in the second round. Hell, I think if I'm not mistaken, Cooper Kupp was taken in the fifth round out of BYU. AJ doesn't want to keep running routes with Hurts as his quarterback. Correct. Get this, you can't tell people in Philly that. They don't want to accept the fact. They don't mind it. AJ doesn't hate Hurts. He hates his ability to throw on time. I didn't say that. Adam Kaplan, this is what he's been told in that building and by AJ's agent. AJ's agent has made it clear he doesn't like the quarterback and the way he gets the ball to him. He's never on time. And you want to keep him? The Eagles don't even want to keep him. You're not listening. Okay, so if you keep him, you're going through the same shit you went through in 25. Seals, AJ wants a change and opportunity. He wants to be an active participant in every game. He can do both of those with a new quarterback in Philly, which is coming in 27. Hurts is not a timing quarterback. Hurts has never been a timing quarterback. And Jalen's agent doesn't want him to run. Then what do you do? By the way, Charles, if Jalen Hurts' agent, Nicole Lynn, doesn't want him to run, his market value's down. AJ isn't going nowhere. Get used to it. You get used to a guy who's a discontent and a malcontent on your football team too, then, dude. Be used to the Book of the Month Club then being read to you on the sidelines in the upcoming 26 season, because he'll be reading the Book of the Month Club every single weekend. He'll be reading War and Peace, Moby Dick. You should get yourself a really good library card, because you'll be able to follow along. Local Philly fan base chart went down a lot. Not even sure what the hell that means. Who was AJ before Hurts? Just a dude. Okay. Then why don't you use him? Why is your pass game blow? So wait, how in the world do you have two 1,000-yard receivers and a 1,000-yard back, and you fired all your offensive coaches if you think you're so good? You fired your entire offensive coaching staff, not just the coordinator, your entire staff, except for your running back coach and your wideout coach. You fired everyone. Why? Yo, well, what about Stoutland? He sucked too? He sucked too? What Hurts has no more guaranteed money. Hey, by the way, no. That's next year. Jalen Hurts has no guaranteed money next year. That's why the contract extension conversation's going on. I'm not extending that guy. I have no interest. This is the last year of guaranteed money for Hurts. Next year, there's no guaranteed money. That's why the Eagles can move off from next year. There's no guaranteed cash. None. Hey, by the way, I'm shocked they haven't extended him. If they thought so much of him, they would have. It'd have been a top priority. Don't you think? Hey, get this. That's a great comment, actually. Hey, Hurts just better. If he's an MVP and he's so valuable to the team, why haven't they got ahead of it? And this is the last year of guaranteed money. Why haven't they extended him and made him a number one issue? How come they haven't offered him a new contract? Anybody? How come they haven't offered Hurts a contract extension? You're going to be bad either way next year. I'm flip-flopping. I said you're going to win 7 to 9 games. With him or without him. Why haven't they given him a contract? You got to pay the defense first over your so-called franchise quarterback? Well, you're not signing Jalen Phillips. You're not signing him. Why haven't you given Jalen Hurts a contract extension? Shit, they just gave Josh Allen a brand new one. They're talking with Lamar Jackson about another extension. How come? As usual, Big Sills, right on the number. 11 wins. I'll be right again. 7 to 9. If Jalen was the future, he'd be extended already. Correct. You got it, Jimbo. They're not extending that guy. They're not extending him. Josh Allen won the MVP and was drafted in 2018. Smart guy. Jalen Hurts just won the Super Bowl MVP 13 months ago. You don't extend him? Especially when he's eligible for an extension? He's eligible right now for one. Get a pretty healthy one. I would think if they wanted him. Why not? How is that not a top priority? If Hurts is the future of your team, Jalen Carter's not the number one priority on your team. Jalen Phillips is not the number one priority. A.J. Brown's conversation is not the number one priority. How is Hurts not the number one priority if this guy's the face of your franchise? No. He's not worth every penny. He was worth every penny when he ran. Now he's not. Now he's not worth every penny. If he's not running, not what I paid for. And not what I paid for. I paid for a dual threat guy. Not a guy who's not very good in the pocket. If AJ truly leaves and gets 2,000 receiving yards somewhere else, How would that make Jalen look in Howie's eyes? Probably Howie wouldn't think 10 seconds about it, especially if Hurts and the Eagles win 13, 14 games, are in an NFC championship, and AJ goes somewhere else and gets all those yards, and that team doesn't do as well. He's not going to think 10 seconds about it. Good for him. He got exactly what he wanted. The Eagles got draft picks. AJ got his numbers. That's how he would feel about it. Look, as long as those guys don't win the Super Bowl because of him, Howie's not going to give a shit if he gets $2,000, 115 catches, and he goes to a team that wins 7, 8 games. You think Roseman's going to give a shit about that? That's like saying that Howie cares about Jamar Chase sitting in Cincinnati. Let him get his 120 catches. Let him get his 1,400 yards. It's irrelevant when it comes to wins and losses. It's completely irrelevant. What do you think of the kid from Arkansas who can run the Eagles offense? That quarterback, I actually like him. I saw him against Notre Dame. He wasn't very good in that game. Notre Dame took the whooping board out. I think he's a good player. You know what?